You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters, let's talk some NFL, and how about some Raiders? We're going to talk about the quarterbacks because, of course, preseason has started. J.J. McCarthy looked pretty damn good. And am I going to have to eat crow on Caleb Williams? Because he looked pretty damn good, too. In fact, most of this rookie class actually looks like they may be competent. And Jaden Daniels looked good. You guys know I love Jaden. I love Michael Penix coming out. Kind of went against the grain when it come to some of these quarterbacks coming out. And we may be talking about this class. Isn't it funny? The 2021 class, the Mac Jones, Trey Lance, Zach Wilson class was supposed to be the big quarterback class. Yikes. So much for that. Also, so coming out of the Raiders game, there was some noise going around about the fact that the Raiders may have decided who their starting quarterback's going to be. Now, Antonio Pierce has come out, made some comments about Gardner Minshew, Aidan O'Connell. I like both of these guys, to be honest with you. In case you're wondering, I can tell you they're both basically, when I looked at PFF earlier to 2023 grades, Aidan was like 28th and Gardner was like 31. And which is kind of surprising because Gardner actually had a pretty solid season for what you would expect out of Gardner Minshew. And Aidan O'Connell was a rookie, and at times he flashed last year too. I still think there's a chance he's the long-term answer for the Raiders. I think it's possible. Now, I would be lying if I said I'm not rooting, crossing my fingers, especially after the Raiders donning of the cap by Tom Brady the other day. I've been telling you guys, I'm still rooting for Tom Brady to come out and play for the Raiders for like 2 seasons. Just because, man, that would be freaking interesting. It would. So let's take a look at this. This is what Antonio Pierce said. Aidan O'Connell got a start. Drove the team 83 yards in 15 plays for a field goal. And he was 7 for 9, 76 yards before Gardner Minshew took over in the second quarter. And he led 3 scoring drives, 6 of 12, 117, and a touchdown to DJ Turner before he was setting out the second half. Now, Antonio Pierce came out, told Vic Tuffer of The Athletic that he thought the quarterbacks responded well. And so there was a little noise out there about the fact that they thought this was a done deal, or this could be a done deal for the season. And one of these 2 quarterbacks may have already been chosen. Well, enter in a guy I listen to his podcast quite a bit, real down-to-earth kind of podcast, but it's good, and that's Hondo Carpenter, the insider from SI. And, in fact, I was listening to his podcast this morning, and he went on a bit of a rant, right? And it was because I guess some people believe that the coaches had tipped their hands by letting Gardner Minshew play such a long period of time on Saturday. Well, I think that was kind of the plan, and evidently it may flip-flop in the next game. But Hondo shot this entire situation down. Quote, evidently there are some people who create alleged Raiders content, you leave me out of this, Hondo, who aren't at practice, talking about the Raiders essentially made a decision at quarterback, and that's why Aidan O'Connell didn't come back in the game, or the Raiders showed that Gardner is ahead. That is nonsense, Hondo said on the Las Vegas Raiders Insider podcast on Monday. Anybody that listened to my podcast knew one quarterback was going to get 1 quarter, another was going to get the second quarter. The only reason Aidan didn't come back in is he had a very long, sustained drive. So they felt like because that drive was so long, so drawn out, 83 yards involved in it, hey, that's good enough. Let's pull him out of there. It's also worth noting that Antonio Pierce said prior to the game that O'Connell and Minshew would each play a quarter. The reality is the Raiders have a difficult decision looming at quarterback for the first time since the beginning of training camp. It looks from the outside like they have 2 encouraging options. what's the old saying, folks? If you got two quarterbacks, you got none. I don't know that applies here, but you get my point. There's a chance that neither one of these guys work out, right? You're always going to want, I would think you're always going to want to err on the side of the youth, right? The guy that's younger, the guy that has more potential, the guy, not that I don't think Gardner can keep you competitive. He can. He showed that with the Colts last year, and they almost made the playoffs. I think he's a guy that can win you 8 to 10 kind of games, you know. I don't know where Aidan O'Connell is. The one thing I would be concerned about if I am the Raiders, you've got a division where it looks like the Denver Broncos have their guy. All right? Bo Nix looks like he can play starting NFL quarterback. And that goes back to what I was talking about before the draft. I like these guys that have played a lot of college football games. And you're starting to see that better product. Like Trey Lance. I was watching him yesterday play for the Cowboys. He still can't play. He is not I don't even think he's a QB2 in the NFL. I think he's a UFL guy. I would say a CFL guy. I don't think he can play in the CFL. I don't. I think the UFL might be more his lane. But he only played like 17 or 18 games before the Niners took him. And that's a bad idea. I wouldn't have never drafted the guy. I'm a Niners fan. I said before the draft, my God, what are they doing? They're pivoting to Trey Lance? Are they nuts? Well, you got Bo Nix, ton of college experience. Caleb Williams, ton of college experience. Jaden Daniels, ton of college experience. Michael Penix. I mean, it's a theme. They all played a ton of games. And they walked in the other day, and they all look like they can actually function potentially, J.J. McCarthy, potentially as a starting quarterback in the NFL. I think the right coaches matter too. Sean Payton, Kevin O'Connell, offensive guys. I think that makes a difference as well. This is going to be interesting. If you're a Raiders fan, I'm interested to know, who are you rooting for? Because I would assume that while you don't care as long as you maybe make the playoffs, I would think, and I really like Gardner Minshew, he oozes the look of a Las Vegas Raider, of a Raider. But if you're rooting for the guy or a guy long term, I would think it's going to be Aidan O'Connell, Now, what's the ceiling for Aidan O'Connell? He may end up being a guy that is 25 to 30 touchdowns a year, 8 to 12 interceptions, kind of a 10 to 22 kind of quarterback in the NFL. And can you win a Super Bowl with that guy? Sure, under the right, perfect circumstances, great defense, right? Great special teams, good running game. Yes, you can win a Super Bowl with those kind of guys. Dilfer, Brad Johnson, it can happen. But you got a hard-ass division with a bunch of damn good quarterbacks, or what could be a damn good quarterback, and you got to get through Mahomes and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson to get to the Super Bowl. Is that ultimately going to work out? And is Tom Brady coming back? Tell me in the comments. And there's a lot of rumors about Dak Prescott and the Niners, too. After seeing Trey Lance, I don't think that's going to happen. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.